I love the little flashy arrows and the rotating thing. It's such a good graphic.
Thank you. I built it with some help through Carvana. Canva. Wow.
I mean, I think you did a fantastic job. It's all spinny and stuff. That's all good. So, hi everyone. Welcome to the stream. We've got me again, and we've got Sam again. So I guess we'll go ahead and do introductions while I guess people are filtering in and stuff, because most of the people who are gonna join us kind of know who we are, mostly, usually.
Yep.
Wait, do I have to activate anything on my YouTube, or did it pop up?
Nope, your YouTube's active.
Beautiful. This is so handy. I love you. So, all right. So, hi everyone. Welcome to the stream. Hi, Karsten. First comment, early bird worm, and hi, Shepherd. It's good to see you guys. Hi, my name.
Sorry.
If you can remember how to make me go big, you can make me go big for a moment.
All right. Well, it would help if I did this the correct way. Hang on. I know how to do this. Hang on.
I believe in you. I believe in you. There we go. So awesome. Hi, everyone. It is Amber Brite. I am a professional prop maker here in Phoenix, Arizona. I make a full-time living off of props and costume pieces, and a lot of what we're going to do today is actually commission pieces for my customers. So you guys are going to just kind of join me in the process of getting some of this ready. We're going to talk about some of my painting techniques, some of my kind of how I go about painting on props, kind of where I start, that kind of methodology. And then my ghost in the shell is...
I'm here. I'm back. I did it. And now we're swapping. There. And then we're swapping this way too. Oh, no, wait. I'm back. I'm Thermo. Hi. I just got off work, and so I don't feel like being on camera. I had a long day. I'm going through my annual audit. I'm tired.
I'm just happy that you are here because you make the buttons go. I don't know how to do that. So.
I need to delete some of these layouts. I got a little too crazy. That's why I'm like, oh god, there's so many layouts now. At some point, I need to go in the layout editor and be like, I need to get rid of these.
These are the ones we use. These are the ones we don't use. Oh, I forgot to post on social media that I was streaming.
Also, you can see, look, you can actually see the comments right here on the screen now. So.
Oh, I see that. Oh, hi, Jessica.
Yeah. I got it set up to where people can see it from all different places now, so they can see that we streamed at all locations. Yeah.
So when I'm responding to comments on YouTube, people on Facebook aren't like, "Who is she even talking to?"
Yeah.
I appreciate it. And Karsten, you sent me those on Discord, right? Thought I responded. I don't remember. I've been fiddling with my Discord recently, so I have been spending a lot more time on it. So, okay. So, Sam, I like this Sylvie. It's good.
Yeah. Okay.
I sent you a friend request. Perfect. Then I did what I was trying to do, which was catch up on some Discord messages. So for those of you who don't know who might be interested, I do have a Discord. It is, I think just Amber Brite, all one word. I don't know what my number is. I think if you just look up Amber Brite, you should find me. But I also just recently revamped my Discord server. So I'm going to be posting a lot of work in progress photos and updates and announcements and stuff there, as well as my calendar as far as these streams, and then where you're going to be able to find me. So if you want that link, let me know. I
also just changed the banner. I just realized I had the wrong banner up. I'm sorry.
How very dare.
Oh no.
We'll for a while. I don't know. Okay. Streaming. Join. And this is on Cause Talk Live. It's so unprofessional. I forgot to do this ahead of time.
Look at that. That's weird. Why did you do that? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, you guys can watch me do my whole posting methodology. But so how is everyone doing today while I am doing this? Tell me what you guys accomplished today. Jessica, I want to hear what you were up to today because I haven't talked to you in ages. So. Okay. I'm not even going to add any hashtags on it. I am going to be a bad poster. Okay. I'm turn on Facebook. Okay, good. Done. All right. I wanted to point out that I had the Ayla sticker headpiece in the build a few days before you announced her as your new cosplay, so I'm a clairvoyant. I love that. Yeah, and it's so funny because so many people are like, oh, when are you doing Ayla? When are you doing Mission? And my response to like canon characters is always kind of like when I have something I'm excited about doing with them. So for instance, like I had Leia's bikini for like 8 years or something like that before I actually did her because I had my idea for my Jabba hood here. So with Ayla, like I was always like, yeah, you know, I could do her regular build, but it's just like, you know, like a crop top and pants. It didn't really, you know, like excite me or anything like that. And I've seen so many people do it so amazingly that I was just like, you know, I just don't feel like I have anything to add to that conversation. I'm not excited about it, you know, all this. And then I found that fan art. Shout out to, I think it's K Ralding on DeviantArt. If you want the original artist, just message me and I can link you directly to the art. But I found this fan art that I really loved, and I sent the artist a message, and I was like, can I use it? And of course, they haven't been active for 5 years, so I don't even think they've seen my message. So hopefully, they don't log back onto DeviantArt going, oh, I hate this. I hate that someone used it as a cosplay. So it is what it is. So I don't know. I might get an idea for Mission Bayo going forward. I might not. Canon characters are always one of those things where like I'll get to it if I get to it, and if I don't, I'm just not going to. I mean, that's kind of a non-answer, but that's kind of how it is. Jessica says, I was off for Juneteenth and I did so many chores. Boo. But like, yay, Juneteenth. I also bought Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering cards from someone on Facebook, so that's pretty dope. I hate selling on Facebook Messenger. I have never successfully sold anything on Facebook Marketplace. Like I've never. Like people who sell things, like Sam, you sell your cosplays on like Facebook Marketplace. It's magic to me. Like I don't know how you do it. I don't know a cosplay. I sell them on Depop and in person, like when I am like posting on my personal page saying, hey, these are the ones I'm getting rid of. But like I put them up on Facebook Marketplace and I just get a whole bunch of like people with no social skills of a certain persuasion who are like, oh, don't sell it. We should cosplay together. And I'm like, no, I'm selling it. Like either buy it or go away. Bought a lot of my furniture on Facebook. See, like, I guess I'm just selling the wrong things on Facebook. I guess. All right.
I'm going to rearrange some cameras real fast. Give me just a second. Okay, you should be on. I can disable the comments for a little bit so they can see your face. Unless you liked the other one. Did you like it better like this?
Either way is fine. I did like having the chat up though. So,
okay,
like,
so we'll have the chat. Yeah, we'll have the chat up so that people can see.
Here. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Got it.
Good. Shepard says, I've only sold one thing, a set of barbells. It took about 2 days. Yeah, I guess anything that has my face in it just is a no-go for trying to sell it.
Why is the chat's working now? Okay, sorry, the chat was delayed for a second. There we go.
Hi, Junior. I'm doing good. How are you? Okay, so these are some of my props that I am making for. I make trophy belts, tassels, etc., for like Mandalorians and stuff like that. And then I have a big bucket of horns here that all need to be painted. So how I approach things, and keep in mind that I am a prop maker, so like I sell a lot of horns. So I tend to do things in large batches. So for instance, this is enough for like 3 trophy tassels here. Like I would probably split them up like that or something like that. Maybe like that. So like I make things in bulk, and in here, like this is literally an entire bucket full of horns. So I kind of do a production line sort of thing where I'll sit and Tuesday, I basically sat down and I basically just cast a bunch of horns. And then that way I can get my resin out, I can get my dyes out, I can settle down, I can get a bunch of horns cast up. And then the next day or the next part of it is to take all those horns, sand any of the extra flashing, make sure that the bottom is nice and smooth. You can kind of see where I sanded a little bit of roughness here. And then assemble these caps here, because these get cast up without this. This is little Terraflex add-ons that I have to hand create. I keep thinking about making like a really quick cap mold so that I could cast these and then pour it into the mold and then plug these in and it'll just cure. But I haven't really figured it out. Plus I keep doing them some I do kind of these hoopy hoop thingy here. I think my light might be too strong right there. Let me turn that up a little bit. There we go. So some I make the nice little loop, and some I make the smaller side loop. So once I get all of my horns together, then it's time for painting. So I have 4 sets of mall horns in here, as well as a bunch of different trophies, as well as a set of Savage horns. And basically, I'm just going to sit and paint for hours. I usually, if I'm not streaming with you guys, I usually put on I'm gonna be honest, I'm super into Ocean Gate right now, the Titan submersible, and deep sea incidences and stuff like that. So that's a lot of what I'm watching. If you guys haven't seen the new Titan submersible documentary on Netflix, it's crazy. It's so interesting how all you need is a modicum of money and confidence, and you can do things like take 5 people down to the bottom of the ocean in a sub that's never successfully tested, had a scale test performed. So
yeah, they just they're like, hey, would you like to implode? Here you go.
Yeah.
yeah,
and it's
pretty messed up.
Yeah, because one of the channels I follow, Jeff Ostroff, Ostroff, has gone a lot into the science of it and how the manufacturing defects and how just how scientifically we got to the point of Titan exploding, imploding, and killing everyone on board instantly. But the Netflix documentary goes through a lot of the politics and stuff like that. So it's interesting as someone who has watched a lot of the more science/physics based explanations to see the politics that went into it and just be white guys with money are so scary. They just do things that are terrible ideas, and they just do things. So, Anyway, so that tangent aside, it's normally I sit and I watch stuff like that while I'm painting because it's a very chill thing to do. So I'm going to start by just kind of separating these out a little bit. This is the array of paintbrushes I have. I like these broad, soft ones. One thing that people don't always realize when it comes to like painting and paintbrushes is that your paintbrush bristles have different textures and different stiffnesses. So if you have a softer brush, it's going to give you kind of a more like soft, not as many brush strokes, et cetera, et cetera. Whereas you go to a harder brush, it's going to give you more of a textured, controlled laying down of paint. So I tend to use, for painting my horns, slightly on the softer side because I don't want bristle like brush strokes in the paint because they're supposed to be horns. They're not supposed to be painted horns. They're supposed to be horns. So these are all pretty soft bristles. These are pretty crunchy because this is one of the brushes I've had the longest, my poor thing. But you can see just a bunch of different sizes for like adding textures and details and stuff like that. But these two are the ones that I use the most. And then I, of course, have my paints. I have two types of paint that I love. I have one brand of paint that I swear by, and that's Liquitex. Liquitex is an acrylic-based paint that is mixed with a little bit of latex, so it's pretty flexible. So I find that it chips a little bit less than just straight up acrylics. The Basics formula tends to be a little less pigmented, but that's sometimes useful. So like if I don't want a strong, like burnt yellow color, that's why I have this one. Whereas like this brown, this is burnt sienna. I want that to be nicely pigmented. So I've got the heavy body acrylic. So this is kind of the like lower end stuff, and this is the higher end stuff. So I've got both depending on what I'm doing with it. Saturn says, did you go to an art store for your, or do you go to an art store for your props? I do go to art stores to buy the paint. My local Blix hardware or art store is kind of the place that I like to go. A lot of my brushes I get kind of in clearance batches just because I am really rough with brushes and I go through brushes very quickly. So I tend to get those in kind of like batches. And then we've got like awkward things like this where I didn't realize I already had some white in my mold and I poured dark brown. So we're going to see if I can rescue this with paint. We're going to see. It's going to be interesting. I don't know if it's going to be successful. This might be one that I end up like throwing away or something like that. But, and then I'll get my slug over here. So generally when I'm going about paint jobs, I kind of sort everything ahead of time so that I have groups of things that I'm going to kind of paint similar colors or similar themes, just because that's a little bit easier for me as far as making sure that I don't pull out too much paint or that I don't let my paint dry out. So I'm just kind of sorting through my giant bucket of props. Most of these are Darth Maul horns, so like most of these are going to be all painted later probably. I don't know, we might get to it. I've got like 6 sets of Darth Maul horns in here, and they're each 10, so I've got 60 horns in here. And each one of those is hand painted. When people go, why are your props so expensive? It's because they're hand painted, Linda. This is not there's no a conveyor belt just like blasting out the colors. Each one I have to hand paint. Also, shout out to people who buy from people like me who hand paint their stuff, because it is. I really should have separated these out earlier. Okay, I think that's all. I think these are just small horns. Okay, I think those are all small horns. So you can see. Nice one. Don't pour Linda. Linda thinks that I'm Amazon.com and I should be able to send her a custom set of horns in 24 hours. So like Linda can like sit down and learn the value of time. I'm really sorry if someone's like in chat if your name is actually Linda. I don't know. I chose Linda. Like, I've never met a bad Linda, so like, I guess I should have gone with like Karen or something like that. But then I know nice Karens too. So, is there an Amber Prime? No, there's not enough money that. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's enough money, but people don't pay me enough to like stay awake for 48 hours to get you a prop in 2 days. Like, sometimes I can. I say that, but sometimes I can. Sometimes I have
to ghost a machine, and the ghost machine just comes over, and you're like, thermal help. I'm like, okay, right? I mean, I don't think we've ever had to do that together, other than painting you.
Yeah. And then that was kind of like an assembly line.
Yes.
Okay, move. Move.
We were just like rotating around you. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
If you've ever had to paint yourself from head to toe, just understand you're probably gonna have 2 to 3 people, and you're just gonna be standing there and listening to directions and hoping that you don't get paint in your mouth or eyes.
Yeah, it's so funny because like people are like, oh, it must be so fun to get painted up. I'm like, well, once I'm painted, it's fun. But like the process of being painted is actually kind of boring. Like you just hold still for a really long time.
It's fun for people painting you, but it's not fun for you. Yeah.
I like to do the painting job, but usually I'm the one being painted. And so I'm just like, and I have trouble being still. So a lot of it's like me being still for a little bit and then starting to get wiggly, and then like whoever's painting me being like, stop wiggling, and then me being like, okay, but like I gotta wiggle now. Like,
see, that's why you gotta be quick to the draw if you're painting Amber. You just gotta
This is why we have like the high-powered airbrushes that just go. Okay, I don't want to paint any more of these. Okay.
Karsten made a good point that the people who paint you should tell interesting stories. I mean,
there you go, Sam. Let's get some stories in the lineup. Like,
I can tell you about the time I flatlined. That'll be fun.
See, I feel like that's a traumatizing story.
No, actually, it's a story because I'm alive. It's a good story. No, okay.
I don't like my Sam wifey being anything other than perfectly in health. So,
but it made me more healthy because we found out what was wrong.
That's good. But like, I like this side of that event and not that side.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. That's totally fair.
Broken King sent little dance birds.
Yeah, it's little Bender's dancing.
Oh, Bender's dancing. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
We agree, Sam. About that.
I won't say again until it's my time. I promise. Like, I promise.
That was very ominous. Okay. So next, you need something to put your paint in. I like how Sam's like, I almost done, and then like fucks off. So like that's cool.
I'm still here. I just need to get water. I need to get water.
Okay, get water and don't die. Anyway, this is my favorite paint pan because the paint just peels up off of it, which in part is because it's a medical collection tray for like medical specimens that I stole from my vet clinic because we weren't going to use them anymore. So like I've had this for like 10 years because like it was sterilized, so like it's not gross anymore, but like I mean you can see like the paint just like peels right off, and I have painted on this like so many times. But yeah, this is my favorite paint tray is repurposed. You know, cosplay is very like eco unfriendly, so whenever I can find a way to like minimize how much like waste I create, I'm always happy to. But yeah, I especially love this one because it's flat and it's shallow and the paint peels off. But you can see what I was saying about Liquitex, where it kind of it has some flex to it. It's not just like chipping off. It's kind of like Like you can kind of bend it and
I
stuff
love
like
liquid text because if you have to put it on a prop that is somewhat flexible, it's not going to crack like acrylic will.
Yeah, Liquitex is the best. I really, for whatever props I use it on,
I just have to wear gloves because the text means it has latex, everyone. So if you have a latex sensitivity, wear gloves so that it doesn't get on your body. But and if you're touching the prop, maybe wrap that section of the prop too with something. But Liquitex is probably one of the longest lasting, similar to Plasti Dip.
It's my go-to paint. This is my other most common used paint pad. Just literally the top of a old latex tub. Like I used up all the latex and then I just repurposed the top again because it's like coated, like the paint like peels off of it really nice. So, you know, like painting can get really expensive. Like each of these little tubes, like this tube right here is like $30 or something like that. Like it's fairly expensive. The trade-off is that you need like that tiniest amount every time that you use it. So this will last a really long time. But like I recognize that it's expensive, you know? So whenever, you know, like you don't have to have like there are some things that you need to have like the high-end stuff for, like the paint. Probably paint, like nicer paintbrushes would probably help me as well. I'm just really rough on my paintbrushes, so I tend to buy like just the clearance ones. But you don't need like across the line, like high-end everything. Like this is basically a pea pad and an old top. And these are like my two most used paint pads. So like, you know, spend your money where it's actually going to make a difference and not like where it's kind of wasted time. Like I wouldn't bother buying an expensive like easel thing. Like I don't need it. I got my pea pad. Like it's good. So all right, I'm going to start. Where do I feel like starting? I'm going to start with these things. So I'm going to scoot you back here. There. Actually, no, I changed my mind. I'm going to start with these guys. Start with my whites. I also usually have with me a foam brush. These are my favorite for doing weathering, dry brushing. I really love these like foam wedges for dry brushing because you get a nice unified stroke and you don't get brush strokes. Because
see, I use paper towels.
Yeah, you can do that too. I don't use paper towels. I have a paint rack.
Yeah, that works too. You can also take like those microfiber cloths that one side's meant for scrubbing dishes and one side's soft because the scrubbing side creates like nice texture too.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it goes back to like, yeah, like there's expensive like, you know, texturing cloths out there somewhere, but you don't necessarily need those. So, all right, I'm going to start with probably just this one. So when I set about painting a prop, I try and keep in mind the reverse of the end. So I kind of want to think about what I want it to look like at the end and then step back and step back and step back and step back. Because you're going to be most successful if you can layer from like dark to light. That's usually how you want to go. You want to start with your darks and then go to your lights. So I usually do that. So if I know where I want the highlights to be, I know I'm going to want that the lightest color. So then I'm going to step back and be like, okay, my midtones are going to be a little bit lower than that. And then my dark tones are going to be at the base. So I'm going to start
the only time you do reverse of that is with metals, because metals, you have to get the brightest shine and then add the shadow.
Yeah. And that's, metallics are a weird one. So Shepard asks, what advice would you give someone who is painting a prop for the first time? Don't be afraid to fuck it up. Like go balls and paint it. Keep in mind where your shadows are, keep in mind where your highlights are, and try and bring those to life. And if it sucks, just spray paint over it and try again, or just sand the paint off and try again. Like people get so like worried about paint jobs, and I understand it, because a terrible paint job can make the best prop look flat and unappealing. Whereas an amazing paint job can take a basic prop and just elevate it. And if you want to see a great example of that, Vulpin Props just put out a foam Viking shield that he did. And it's literally the most basic of builds. It's just some foam. And he textures it a little bit and he adds some details on top. But it's really his like paint job that like really brings depth and kind of pops it out and stuff like that. So like I understand why people get worried about paint jobs, but like of all the steps that we take in cosplay, paint is the one that's easiest to redo because there are very few instances where painting something means you can't do anything more with it. I would say latex props or things that are like sensitive, like where you need like the lightest coat of paint, that would be something I would probably like practice ahead of time. But if you have like a foam sword, foam armor, Sintra armor, anything like that, like just go in there and try to make your shadows dark and your highlights bright. And if it sucks, you can repaint it. So like paint is one of the most forgivable steps that we have. But again, like it goes back to when we are cosplaying, when we're building props, one of the things that we're doing is we're trying to tell other people's eyes what they should be seeing. And so like for this, you can kind of see like this light is washing it out pretty badly, but you can kind of see like the depths and the ridges and stuff like that. I want your eye to see those very clearly. So my paint job is going to be to darken the darks and pop the brights. So we're going to start. And when I paint, I try not to have a super wet brush. Just because I find it's easier to like blend if I don't have an excess of paint. But the nice thing about like organics like this is that like there's not, like you can be pretty messy with organics, which is why I really love painting organics, because like it's got a lot of like machined parts, you have to be like really precise. And sometimes with machined parts, I'll tape off lines that I want nice and crisp, or I'll use rulers while I'm painting. But with my organics, I can just get in there. And what I'm doing is I'm working my darkest color down into all of the shadows. And I'm letting it come up to where my mids are going to be. And I'm not worried too much about like if it gets on the edges or anything like that, because again, I'm starting from the base and I'm building up. So I'm just going to make sure I get it in there. And already you guys can see, like, look, it's telling your eyes where to look. Like it's telling your eyes, oh, here's the darks, here's the lights. And it's telling the camera what to show too. Kind of handy that I got a crappy camera because you can kind of see how big of a difference a paint job makes on these things. Now, here's where I decide if I'm going to stay on the same horn or move to a different horn. If I want sharper striations, I'll leave this to completely dry. But I kind of want it to be a little bit more blended, so I'm going to keep painting it while it's like a little wet, I guess. So I want my mid-tones to be this nice part. Yeah, this actually might be a little too dark. We're gonna have to see. But bring my mid-tones up here, and you can see like that little dab. Like that's all you need. Like you don't need a lot. What I was using this one. Okay. Okay, so now I don't want to get all the way deep in, so I'm going to kind of bring my brush at more of an angle. Yeah, this is darker than I want. Okay, so this is going to be my darks. JK. Sometimes I forget what my colors look like. Like I just said, like paint is very forgiving as far as like if you start on something, you're like, that's not quite what I wanted. Like you can redo it. This is going to be good too because you'll see that I'm being kind of lazy about how I'm spreading the red, and that's going to give me a little bit more of a variation, a textured look, as opposed to like worrying about being like perfect with it. Like, all right, so now I'm going to take one of these and I'm going to pull. I think I want white. Wait. Do I want the highlight? Do I want a little bit of white? And then I'm just going to pull this together. And this is kind of how I mix colors. I'll start with one color next to the other color, and then I guess it's like a little harder for you guys to see. But like I put the whites down next to the reds, and I'm kind of pulling into it to mix to the color I want. And again, I'm doing organic, so I'm not like super worrying about, like you can see that's not super well mixed right there. So it's going to give me some like natural variations and textures. And I'm mostly working with a drier brush. So I'm just trying to hit kind of those mid-tones. I'm not worrying too much about it being perfect. Because I know I'm going to go in and my lightest tone is going to be pretty white. So I'm not worried too much about like making sure that all of my white is perfect. Yeah, Shepard, what sort of a prop are you thinking about painting? This is gonna be really funny if you're like, oh, like a perfectly machined armor, and I've just sat here going, oh, organic is so much better because you don't have to like worry about being perfect, and you kind of do with the more techie stuff. And so basically, you can kind of see that I'm kind of making sweeps like this so that I don't go down into those crevices. One of the other things I can do at this point too is actually to wipe it off my apexes, which is going to help guide where I want my upper levels to be. It's kind of funny because I tend to kind of dry brush almost everything. Like I tend not to work with too much paint on my brush at any given time. I'm also concentrating on getting kind of this end a little bit more than this end because I intend to have the tip be lighter than the other side. Okay. So already you can see your eye can make more sense of this and it looks a little bit more authentic, I guess. Now I'm going to take and work on my top layers, which again, tiny bit of that, tiny bit of this. More of this. I'm not going super thick on it either. So you can see kind of like the places that I kind of already like wiped the paint away. Like they're kind of poking through a little bit, which I think is fantastic. That's what we like to see, because it just helps hide it in a little bit. And since I'm just hitting kind of like the top, like this is pretty striated, you can see. So it makes it really easy. If this was a smooth cylinder and I wanted to get this sort of texture on it, I would probably use a thin little brush and then just draw the kind of highlights on itself. But since my prop is already pretty textured, I can kind of just let it take its shape. So as I'm kind of trying to get more of the white to show up at the end, I'm using a little bit more paint, like I'm using a wetter paintbrush. So like that way I'm getting kind of sharper lines. Sharper lines and kind of like a flatter edge too, because I just want it to hit kind of the highest points. So there you go. I think that looks pretty good. Did you get any further with your Twitch channel? Oh God, no. I intend to, but I've done nothing with it. I was mostly focusing on my Discord and getting my Discord up and running again. My Twitch is, I'll get there when I get there. I've also had a crazy couple of months because we had Phoenix Comic-Con or Phoenix Fan Fusion, my bad. And my ass decided to take on a whole bunch of commissions for it, which was cool because I got to build some stuff I've never built before, which I enjoyed quite a bit. But it did kind of mean that by the time Saturday rolled around, I was dead. I was dead.
Do you have like a commission schedule yet, or does it just like contact you and you see what's available? Because I might actually be commissioning you for something soon, because I'm like, I don't want to build this.
I am here for it. But yeah, mostly
it's armor from Baldur's Gate. I want to make the sewing parts. I don't want to make the armor.
I love the armor parts and I hate the sewing, so I am here for that. But yeah, it's commissions are a case by case basis as far as like what time of year it is and like what I have on my plate and stuff like that. But I can right now I'm not super busy. Summer is actually a really good time to commission me. Once we start getting into fall, we start getting into Halloween time. And then Amber becomes like a little stress magnet and doesn't want to talk about doing other stuff for people. Amber starts going, stop talking to me. Okay, this one I want to be a little bit more like striated like that. So I'm going to leave it to dry for a few minutes. I think that was pretty cool. And here's the other thing is like you don't want two of your props, like especially when you're doing organic stuff, like, you don't want them to look exactly the same. Like, I mean, I guess if they're from the same creature, they should look the same, but like organics are best when they're a little bit crazy. A little bit crazy. Carson says very rude. Oh, Amber at Halloween? Oh, okay. For those of you who might not know, Halloween is the absolute busiest time of year for me by far. Like I will do more sales in the month leading up to Halloween than I do almost the rest of the year combined. So it might be rude, but it's also, it's just, it's literally my busy season. So when people are like, oh, like, do this and this and this, I'm just like, I am literally drowning in art. Well, not literally, but figuratively drowning in orders. So like, also don't message me and be like, hey, can you build something for my kid?
Yeah, Amber, can you build something for my cat 2 days before Halloween?
Right? I had someone who I ended up like unfriending for various reasons, but like one of the things was she reached out to me like the week before Halloween and was like, yeah, my kid didn't really like what was available at Walmart. What can you make me? And I was like, nothing.
No.
Nothing. I can make you.
I feel bad.
This.
Yeah. I stopped accepting commissions because, as you know, my day job is consuming sometimes. And I've had so many people messaging me lately after I made Dreadwolf, and I'm like, oh no, I should have seen this coming. Like, I should have seen this coming.
Which is crazy because then you'll do something like, oh, like I won't do it, but here's another creator who does take commissions, and then they'll like never text me, and I'm just like,
yeah.
Like,
I don't get it.
I'll do commissions. Why is everyone always so intent on getting commissions from people who don't do commissions? Like, it's always so weird to me because it happens frequently. Like,
well, I used to do commissions, but it's too much. For those of you who don't know, I'm a cybersecurity expert, and the world is full of chaos right now. And just keeping people's data safe is really a full-time job. And then trying to keep up with the ever-changing regulations. And
I was gonna say, because it feels like it's a day-to-day thing that things are different. Like,
so at this point we're just writing policies to fortify our organization, and we've been coming up with frameworks that people could implement easily through like Microsoft products for free. So my team's trying to come up with like automation that hopefully we could share with other companies for like free or at a low rate, because it's one of those things like, you know what, if things really do go awry, let's make it easy for people to be safer.
Yeah, it's kind of like best for everybody if we are all like safer, you know, like the less chaos especially in like security world and stuff like that, like the less kind of mess there is to deal with.
Yeah, most of us get home and we're like, we have no energy.
Ninjago. do the green Ninjago for my nephew 2 days before Halloween. That one's fine because I'll just go to Spirit Halloween, buy that, and charge you $500 for it.
Bother it a little bit, like, here you go.
That's a joke. I would never do that. I would just be like, why don't you go to Spirit Halloween and buy it? But yeah, that's one of the things when people commission me, or reach out to me for a potential commission, one of the first things I do is I actually Google what they're asking me for, because like a lot of times like Mick Costumes or Easy Cosplay will have it, and it's like, okay, like this is my cost, but like here's
if
like
you're operating on a budget, here you go. Yeah,
like if
I've done that before too.
Yeah, like if you like, I would rather somebody who doesn't like, who's going to like be upset about the money, go to like find something in their budget versus making my life hard.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it sometimes too, where I've had someone go, hey, I want this, and I'm like, cool, I can make it from scratch, or I can make these 2 items from scratch, buy the rest of it through like another party, and like usually just like I'll go to a thrift store or just kind of get some items, alter them to work with this, and it would be half the cost other than if like it was all handmade. Plus it gives me a chance to go to like going to thrift stores means I can upcycle things that are still in really good condition, and they're just being left alone. I mean, there's so many times that I find like leather pants or jackets or stuff that no one uses that can be easily altered into great harnesses and other stuff, and it's so much cheaper than trying to buy it brand new from somewhere else, and it's better for the environment.
It is. Because like we've talked about, cosplay is not always a environmentally friendly gig. So
no, the more you can secondhand or
reduce, reuse, recycle.
I mean, look at your paint containers. There you go, right there.
Yep. Pee pad and an old lid. Sometimes I just look at my setup and I'm like, I'm a professional. Like this, I'm a professional. Like,
hey, it was all clean and sanitary when you started using it. You're fine. You're fine.
You know what? Like nobody should be licking my props. So like, even if it wasn't completely sanitary, like you shouldn't be licking like these horns. Like they're not for licking. Like,
I mean, most props are not for licking because you carry them around at cons or wear them on your body and they get exposed to a whole lot of stuff. Yeah. Or even a shipping box. People do not realize how many germs are in shipping boxes. Like,
I can only imagine. Especially because I tend to reuse boxes too. So I'm usually like the fourth or fifth person who's used a box. So God only knows where it's been. Like half of my garage is just old boxes that I'm like, oh, this thing came in a box and this box is nice. I'm going to keep it. Like, and so then it goes into the garage. And when I have to like ship an item, I go out into the garage to my stack of boxes and pick through until I find a box that works.
Carson's like, but what if it looks lickable like ice cream? There actually are some Japanese props that are being made to look like real food. And I had a friend hand it to me one time and I'm looking at this thing going, I know it's foam, but I want to bite it.
I want to put it in my mouth.
Saturnino was asking if you're going to see any movies in July.
Oh, great question. Isn't Superman out in July?
Yeah, I just saw How to Train Your Dragon. It was so true to the animated. It was so good. I mean, the only complaint that people were saying is that because it's live action, they probably could have gone a little bit more aggressive with like the realism, but I also was like, this is for kids though, and they purposely aged it for that too. So we're not going to have bloody violence. We're going to have like tasteful violence. And it stuck so true to the animation, the animated series, along with adding a few new like little scenes. I really enjoyed it, and I've seen like all the movies and the TV series.
Because I think what they added fleshed out a couple of the side characters. Like Astrid got a little bit more understanding as to why she's hyper competitive. What's his name?
Not Loud.
Yeah,
Scott Loud and Rough Nut and Tough Nut and Fish Legs all got a little bit more too. Yeah.
Yep. Got a little bit more explanation so that you knew who they were as characters and as people. And the one change that did it because this is not a brag. This is not a sad thing. This is just the fact of life. Amber has seen How to Train Your Dragon so many times that I can recite it from memory.
Me too.
So I'm in the theater kind of mouthing along to like the dialogue. Like I know what is going to be said. And one of the changes that they made that I really liked was when they were trying to convince Astrid not to tell Hiccup's like terrorizing her and stuff like that. And in the movie, she gets him to stop by saying, okay, I won't tell. In the animated one. In the movie, they changed it to her touching Toothless on the side and saying, Toothless, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I liked that.
I like that too, because like it showed that, you know, she was recognizing Toothless like as a being with like, you know, individuality and like who matters, as opposed to just all right, I won't tell, you know, like. So I really liked that change. I liked that they kept in thanks for nothing, you useless reptile.
They kept a lot of really like really good. Like if you've seen the animated version, essentially the live action is just the same, only they did improve some of the designs. Like I like how they changed some of the dragon designs.
Oh yeah,
Because it made more sense. Oh,
yeah,
so cool. Yeah.
So good. I was a big fan of the dragon designs, and of course Toothless looked perfect, so I was very happy about that.
They kept him as expressive as they should have, because he is basically a cat dragon.
He is, and I fucking am here for it.
Yeah, Fish Legs was like the info guys that collect Pokemon, and I really enjoyed that they kept pushing into that, because in the animated, even in the TV series, he's just like that in the TV series too.
Yeah.
The Writers of Berk. I'm really hoping that this may lead to live action Writers of Berk. That'd be kind of cool. But in general, even if they just remade all the movies, I'd be happy with that.
Right. I told Matthew, my husband, I'm like, if they make the second one, I just hope you know I will be inconsolable bawling. Like there's just
and it's really cool that they kept the two people that were those voice actors for those characters. That was cool.
Yes.
Like I was like, what do you know? It's what was it, Gerard Butler, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
and then, I love what they did with his cloak to give him that stoic.
Yeah, because he has tiny legs, but it's just the cloak, the size of the cloak. Yeah.
Yep. I was like, oh, that is such good costuming. Like costuming win there. So.
Well, I don't know how long you want to go, buddy, but you are at 5:57.
Oh, 5:57 already. Woohoo. All right. So we'll probably wrap up kind of soonish.
You painted 4 props now? This is your 4th one?
Yeah. So when you guys wonder why my hand-painted props cost like hundreds of dollars, it's because like this bucket will take about 6 to 8 hours to paint. All the ones in that bucket. And basically I've got my painting set up now, and it is going to be for the next couple of days. This is I'm just gonna be chilling here, watching about billionaires that died in a sub because of, ego and shit like that, and just vibing. So I hope everyone picked up at least something about painting, or at least saw oh my gosh, I'm so far back. Hi Matt, it's good to see you. Hi hon. Carson says, is there a dog dragon? Yes, that's the Grunkle. He's a little pug bulldog dragon. There's talk they're making a live action version of Up. That movie killed me. Oh my god, I will be emotionally devastated. I'm that's messed up. Yep. I don't know about that one.
I actually prefer that to be animated, just because I've actually Disney's live actions are hit or miss. DreamWorks seems to be really good when they make a live action. It's far and few between for DreamWorks, but when they do something, it's like a musical or something that they like partner with someone, they really stay true to the original storyline, and they stay true to the original message, and they just add a few more things that you clearly could see, like they wanted to include that joke, or they really wanted to include that emotion, but they were kind of maybe running low on budget, running low, like maybe the runtime was too long, something like that.
Yeah, because in CG, a lot of stuff gets cut because of like the runtime.
The rendering's so expensive.
Yeah. So like it's nice when we can get storylines like Rough Nut and all the other kids getting like a little bit of additional screen time, because that would have gotten that definitely did get cut in the animated version. So, but yeah. When it comes to painting, guys, just like fucking just hop in there and go. Like do it. Just like hop in there and go. What I'm gonna do with these is I'm going to paint the top in literally the most expensive paints I have, which are the heavy body metallics that I have. So these are literally the most expensive paints I have. Can you just chill? Can you just chill for a hot minute? Yes. I'm not sure if you can see that, but these are, so this is like translucent bright silver, and it is literally like the silveristy silver out there. You can see how like shiny that is. And then it's got gold and bronze and like a shiny black and stuff like that. This is like $60 worth of paint right here in these little tiny tubes, but worth it because these are, that's why the water is all the way up there. I knocked all the paint over. But yeah, so I will paint these tops different colors to kind of like differentiate each one. And then I'm going to hit each of them with a coat of varnish. And I use satin varnish for horns because what that does is that gives so if you guys have ever seen like antlers and horns in real life, they have that kind of like satiny texture to them. This is very matte right now. So like M-A-T-T-E, not like M-A-T-T that I love. So I'll hit these with a layer of satin varnish, and then I'll let that completely dry. And that also will protect the paint job too, because these are meant to like jangle about on the sides and they'll be like hitting each other and stuff like that. So the varnish just gives them a little bit of durability as well. And then they will be, arranged and hung up, and you can see some of like my painted ones here. So these are a lot of the ones that are like ready to go. All the little horns I painted up, and they'll go on either the belts or the loops or the tassels or whatnot, and then they'll go out to their people. So if you have any questions on painting, don't hesitate to message me. If you are looking for that Discord information, message me. I will post about it on Facebook at some point, Facebook, Instagram. So you can join my Discord. I'm trying to check it once a day to respond to like questions there, as well as like keep people up to date on what I'm doing and where I'm doing it, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm trying to be better about that. But don't hesitate to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, Threads, all the places. If there's a social media, I'm sure I have it, except for Twitter. I don't have Twitter anymore because no, thank you. But my website is amberbriteprops.com. You can find other tutorials there, including some tutorials on painting and some tutorials on weathering if you want to check those out. If you have questions about any of the products I used today, don't hesitate to message me. You can also email me at amber@amberbriteprops.com. That should go through my spam filters and get to me, hopefully. So, yeah, you guys, let me know if you guys have any questions, but I think that's probably going to be it for now, so that way I can go eat supper. It's very important.
Supper is important.
Yeah. What do you think, Sam? You got anything to say?
Hi. Amber pretty much covered it, and you can find me tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Arizona time, streaming Mass Effect 2.
Ooh, how far into it are you?
I'm just starting the companion quests.
Okay.
So we just got through the intro, the last streaming session, and we will start the companion quests this time. I don't think I'll have my secret new costume by then. It's currently being shipped, but who knows? Sometimes they get surprised and it shows up, a few minutes before, and other times it's like, nope, I'm wearing my Mass Effect t-shirt and the jacket and playing games.
Yeah, you've had some adventures with your cosplays recently.
Yes. This is why I make most of my costumes, because the two or three times that I order something, it disappears for weeks or months at a time because I have to get custom sizing due to my height. So, and the fact that I have shoulders and hips that are exactly the same size, that's just most women's sizing doesn't work. So I have to get men's sizing, and then I have to modify the hips. And anyways, it's a mess.
Always getting custom stuff done, but it's always stressful too, because if it goes wrong, it generally goes terribly.
So Karsten has an idea for a stream. Amber craft stuff, and Thermo is commenting on safety violations.
Well, I was good this one. There's no
we're good.
I didn't aerosolize anything. I'm not licking the paintbrush. Oh, I watched a really cool documentary. Oh my god, I'm gonna tell on myself. I watched a really cool documentary on the Radium Girls, which were the girls that used to
lick their hands. Yeah, make matches.
the glow in the dark like numbers on watches and stuff like that.
That one, and then they also did stuff for matches. And the Matchstick girls also had like crazy things that happened because of the phosphorus levels.
Yeah, they would like lick the paintbrush to get it like nice and like pointy.
Yep.
And I've got a little pointy couple of paintbrushes, but I guarantee I don't lick them. So
I still think it's crazy that they licked radium. I'm like, you're not thinking, are you?
Yeah. You should look up about the guy, what's his name, that used to drink radium infused water, and he would like drink like literally like 64 ounces of like literally radioactive water a day, and like his face like literally melted off. Like it was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Old makeup tips. You know, the stuff that they used to put in the makeup that made them turn completely white, and the same thing. Their faces basically melted off. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Carson really just got grossed out.
Sorry. It's this one downside is that like I was a vet tech for like 5 years or so, and I've worked with animals my entire life, and I work at a bird rescue. So like I don't get grossed out like hardly at all.
I went to animation school. They made me see dead bodies and lots of naked people. I can't count the number of weird things I've seen.
Sam, let's go. But yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys. My next stream is
it's July 17th.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I looked it up.
I don't know what it'll be about. If you guys have special requests, let me know. Otherwise, it'll be whatever I decide about the day before. So, and then
maybe if we talk about what I want commissioned and you're willing to do it, maybe it'll be that.
Yeah, be like, watch Amber build Sam shit. So,
I pay monies.
That's because Sam is awesome, and Sam is somebody I will absolutely commission things for. Carson says, voting for streams every 2 weeks. Okay. Yes, I would like to get to that, but I completely spaced on last month's stream. So let's make sure that I can do it once a month before we start bumping us up to every 2 weeks. Sam's patience is finite when it comes to Amber's shenanigans, but
I love you. I so she knows that I live by a schedule, because if I don't live by a schedule, my life falls apart.
Not a little ADHD being that never knows what day it is and had to set 4 alarms for today to remind myself not to get distracted. So.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming today. And if you do have any questions, you can reach out to Cause Talk Live, Amber Brite Props, and a shout out to Age of Radio, who is our sponsor.
We love them. Go join their Discord and stuff like that for hangout time. So, all right.
They're pretty awesome.
Thank you all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
It'd be great if I actually did the last intro.